Hello, hope you've all had a lovely bank holiday weekend. And today I wanted to introduce you to a familiar face around Faringdon, Kiera Bentley. Hi, Kiera.
Hello, Sarah. Hi.
How are you keeping?
All right, thank you. Yes, not too
Good.
bad.
Good. You've got a lovely backdrop behind you.
I've had to close the window because my cockerel doesn't also know what time it is, and he's been cockadoodling all morning. So I
I
have
think
to tell him it's lunchtime now. He doesn't need to keep doing that.
well, I think we're all struggling with what day it is as well, aren't we? They're all sort of blurring into one at the moment as well, working
Definitely.
from home. So for anybody that doesn't know, Kiera, you've recently been elected as Faringdon's Deputy Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not sure whether you're a glutton for punishment or.
Well, I was deputy mayor before, just for a year, when David Barron was the mayor, and I've recently become deputy mayor because Julie Farmer stood down as she was our deputy mayor, and I thought I'd just be inheriting, a nice quiet Farringdon summer. Little did we know what was coming.
Yes, it's extraordinary, isn't it? The times we're finding ourselves in. It's just
Absolutely.
uncharted waters for all of us. So, Kiera, can I start by asking you to tell us a bit about yourself and how you came to be in Faringdon?
Sure. We moved to Faringdon from Shrivenham. I'm just shooing my dog away. She's decided she wants a piece of the action. And we've been here 7 years, I guess, now. And it's a place dear to my heart. I love the countryside, but we also like being close to town. So it ticks both boxes. And I also find the people here with such a diverse community that it's really nice. You're never far away from a kindred spirit.
So I don't think you were raised locally, were you? You came from further.
No, I'm a Staffordshire lass, but I've moved around quite a lot. I've lived in Surrey and Buckinghamshire, wherever the work goes, really.
And I think that with Faringdon, it's one of those places that when it gets you, it really gets you, doesn't it? And a lot of people move here, perhaps not intending to stay here forever, but actually then find themselves doing exactly that because they love the community.
I think it's, one of those few places where you can never be surprised what's going to happen next. I remember walking through town once and two grown women in tiger onesies were doing their shopping and nobody blinked one eye. And it was like, only in Faringdon really would you find that. I quite often wear my hats, which I love. And, very few people will give more than a second blink, or they might say, oh, nice hat, but that's about it. Nobody thinks it's strange, or it's a really good, quite quirky place.
Quirky is a word I use often to describe Faringdon when people ask me to tell them a bit about it. I think quirky fits very, very nicely, for sure. So, Kiera, you wanted to talk today a little bit about how we're coping during lockdown, and perhaps share some tips with us as to what works for you, because I think everybody handles it in a slightly different way.
Yeah, I think, in response to some of the amazing people that you are talking to, where it's easy to feel a little bit humbled by everything that people are doing, that the key workers that are doing amazing jobs, and just think, well, actually, I'm struggling to just, keep remembering to get up in the morning or feed people what to eat, just the ordinary things. And one of the words that my friend who's a psychotherapist actually came up with is discombobulated, and it's a great word, and I suspect she might have got it from Doctor Who, and being a huge fan, it is something the doctor might say, discombobulated, but it does sum up the feeling of actually our routines have changed completely. I don't think there's anybody not affected by this, and whether it's queuing in the supermarket or not going to work, really is quite unsettling. I'm very impressed the amount of social isolation that people have been doing, or social distancing locally, but we're still not over the worst of it, and we perhaps need to be thinking, how do we cope longer term with the impact of this?
Yes.
One of the things that I think has helped me is thinking about having a routine and just saying, this is the new normal. I'm not going to have to be rushing off to meetings or making phone calls to do with work. and actually taking some time out to speak to my friends rather than good old social media, you know, where people sometimes get very angry and opinionated, is actually pick up the phone and speak to somebody. It's amazing to do that and to connect again with your friends.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's that whole, you know, if you're going to FaceTime somebody just to say hiya, how you doing, you know, it's quite a surprise. You know, I put a bit of perfume on today because I felt like I was talking to you, and a bit of lippy. I don't think I've washed my hair for 2 weeks, you know, because what's the point? The garden doesn't care what I look like. So just trying to bring some normality back into our lives, and this is the new normal. Let's try and work it out.
I don't know about you, but I feel as if I've eaten my weight in food over this last weekend.
Well, I was determined not to buy or eat any Easter eggs because it's just too easy, isn't it? You know, the fridge is always there. There's always something to do. Baking. I'm sick of seeing people's marvelous baking creations on Facebook. Brilliant. But when there's really only you that eats it, it's a killer. We're all going to be like 18 stone by the time this lockdown's finished.
But on the other side of that coin, I think for some people, cooking is extremely therapeutic. And I think the back to basics, you know, re-engaging with cooking from scratch is something that we've now got a bit more time to do. And cooking with fresh ingredients, if you can, is extremely good for you, as well as being therapeutic.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm trying to do is, as well as, you know, back to basics cooking, is just do some of the things that I always claim never to have time to do. So I have tidied my cupboard under the sink. And it's amazing. It's a bit scary what you find under there, but I've got a theory, obviously, that the more cleaning products I buy, the cleaner my house is going to be. The connection hasn't yet been made with putting them out and doing the cleaning, but now I've really got no excuse. And so doing stuff in the garden, which I've never really got the time or the inclination to do. And it turns out it's not the time that makes me not do these things. It's actually, sometimes it's just, it goes on the back burner because it's not a great job. I painted my shed pink. I don't know if you can see it here. I had the paint in the garage, and I thought, well, let's give it a go. Just things like that I think you can actually set yourself a goal, and just the little things in life start to appreciate. It's great to see people walking out with the families, you know, or on their bikes and things, and perhaps reconnecting with nature as much as anything.
And I think when you are out on your daily exercise, you know, people are so much more friendly. You know, they want to engage with you. They want to smile and say hello or give you a wave. And long may that continue after lockdown.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be great to, we can't do the celebration for the BE 75th anniversary. We were hoping to have a big parade and celebration for that. And there's an initiative coming out to have a street party, but in your own home. So I think it's the 8th of May. I think you've probably got the flyer somewhere. We was going to suggest that we all do this sort of street party in our gardens. And decorate houses red, white and blue, and, you know, play some patriotic music and actually have a picnic in your lawn or outside. Yeah, but just an excuse for a celebration and something to look forward to, really.
Exactly that. It is something to look forward to. And I heard about this morning when we were planning this call, and I think it is something that we all need to embrace. And, you know, if you are living in a road where there's a good space between you and your neighbours, then put your deck chairs out on the end of your drive so that you can see each other. As long as you're more than 2 meters apart, that would be so much fun. And fingers crossed, if this weather continues, then that should be a really special day. It would be nice to see some photos and some videos of what each street has done.
Yeah, it's lovely to see the rainbows that I know you've been posting and getting behind, and the positive pink pigeons, which you know, people have been decorating pictures of pigeons and putting them in their windows. We do have quite a lot of pink pigeons around where we are. I don't know where they come from or anything, but there's a flock that go around. Recently moved off from Westland Road, so I'm hoping they appear somewhere soon. But just things like that make people feel a bit more homely and community minded.
We shouldn't forget the teddy bears either. So, you know,
the bear hunts, yeah, they're lovely.
when the young children are out walking with mum and dad, they can go on a teddy bear hunt. So, if you've got teddies, please put them in your front windows. That's great. So Kiera, have you got any other tips on how you're coping? So we've talked gardening, we've talked cleaning, we've talked cooking. I know you have a love of horses, but I'm guessing that you're restricted as to what you can do with them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not riding at all at the moment. Some of you may know I'm a little bit accident prone. So I've decided not to be doing anything that could end me up in hospital. And it's good to see people, wearing the protection with their helmets and their armour when they're on their bikes and things like that. I definitely encourage that, because you don't want to end up in hospital for something as stupid as a break or a fall at the moment. Other things I'm doing really are around planning. I'm planning food so that I can buy locally what I can from the market and the local shops, and then trying to buy online. That's not going particularly well because I'm not a great online supermarket shopper, and trying to get a delivery is quite challenging, or even just trying to log it.
Yeah.
So I'm still shopping locally, but we're making sure that we're perhaps only going to the supermarket once a week, and only one of us is going, which I think is quite a challenge for some of the men that perhaps don't know where things are in the supermarket. And I get these little texts from my hubby saying, "Where is the gelatin? Where would I find that?" and things like that, which is quite amusing. Having to spend more time in close proximity to family is sometimes quite challenging, I would say, for a few of us. But just learning to cope with that and having some quality time on your own, whether that's your private exercise routine. Great to see some of the exercise videos that people are doing where they're learning to dance together. I think they're really funny. And it's nice to look through. I've been looking through old photographs in an attempt to sort cupboards out and things, and that's quite interesting and reminiscing. My sister's in Canada, so they're having quite a hard time of it as well, so we're swapping notes about how we're keeping ourselves entertained in our families. So yeah, just getting on with life really in the new normal.
I think it's really important that we don't look back on this time and have any regrets on things that we could have done that perhaps we regret not having done too. So like you, there's lots of things that were on my to-do list, but I was never going to get to them, which I'm now slowly ticking off one by one. You mentioned briefly the markets. I think it's worth just saying, isn't it, that on a Tuesday morning, there is still a market, and also there was a fresh produce guy down on Saturday morning in the town square as well.
Yeah, he's going to try. The Tuesday chap is the organic vegetables, which are local, and the olive man comes with olives, and the baklava is very lovely, the Turkish delights, as I call them, with a very sweet. And I actually cut them because they're quite large. You can cut them and then save them, and I have a little treat in the morning with my coffee. So that they're on a Tuesday, that are regulars. We're trying to get milk delivered from a milk supplier, local dairy, but they're a little bit too far away, and because they're not geared up for marketing to individuals, they normally sell all their milk to Costa Coffee. So packaging and transporting is a bit of a challenge for them at the moment, but I haven't given up trying to find produce. And the chap that comes on a Saturday market with the veg, he's also hopefully going to come on a Wednesday. But my tip is keep linked to social media. I love the town of Faringdon. We'll always try and put things on that are going on, and of course we've got our local shops that are open, which are really worth supporting. But if in doubt, just put a shout up and say, can I get bread today, or can I get vegetables, are they in the marketplace? Because we really need to support our local traders who are going above and beyond to keep us in with local produce, because I think it's a good indication of how committed they are to actually serving our community, and we need to patronise that.
Yeah, and we need to remember too that these little independent businesses are the ones that are most feeling this lockdown at the moment. Their income is vital to them and their households. And I know Jane from Stay Grounded has managed to get some fresh supplies. So again, sort of cutting down plastic use. You can take your containers to Jane on a Tuesday morning. but she has asked if we can let her know in advance through her Facebook page what you're hoping to pick up from her, and then she'll actually get that ready before you arrive. So again, we can make sure that we are social distancing whilst waiting for her. So she can't let you into the shop, I don't think, but you know, she will serve you from the door. So thank you, Jane, for doing that. And you know, again, as you say, Kiera, it's really, really important that we do support these local businesses.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes we've got to start thinking about the future, and actually, you know, when this is all over, how do we change what we're doing? I think one of the biggest things for us is exercising. You know, I don't normally do an hour's exercise. Now, some of you may well look and say, well, there's a surprise. But actually, you know, whether you're watching a video, an online video, and, you know, a program, or you're doing your Zumba, which I know there's lots of local people who have had to challenge how they're delivering their classes or their future, really. And I think that will be one of the biggest challenges. Also, there's a lot of people who, you know, income's affected. If you work for yourself and you can't work at the moment, it's going to be a big hit, really, financially. And that's definitely one of the things that we need to look at, supporting people, you know, when they can't actually have the standard of living which perhaps they've been used to when they've been earning.
Absolutely. Kiera, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. Don't forget that you can nominate others to take part in these interviews. So anybody watching this video, please put your comments in below. I do have a really long list already, but we're looking for local champions. That might be a business owner, it might be somebody who's doing some volunteering work. Let us have your suggestions and we'll try and make as many of them as possible happen. Kiera, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sarah. We've really enjoyed the videos, and it's certainly been challenging thinking, who do we want next?
Excellent. Thanks, Kiera.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.